Namaste and welcome back to today's episode of Mahabharata Matters. In the previous episode, we saw that Yudhishthira had slain Shalya. Duryōdhana now took charge and encouraged the rest of his remaining soldiers. The 11 Akshauhinis of army that he had 18 days ago had now reduced to just a few hundred horses, chariots and elephants. Only a couple thousands of soldiers were left. He said to them, "Death will come to us no matter what. Let us die bravely like Kshatriyas on the battlefield. Fight with all your strength." Everyone started fighting again. Duryōdhana was fighting like never before. He alone was proving heavy on all the Pandava heroes. His uncle Shakuni, his son Uluka, Susharma and a few other remaining brothers of Duryōdhana came to his side. Arjuna came face to face with Susharma of the Trigarthas. He and his brothers had given enough grief to Arjuna throughout the battle. Susharma was the only remaining Trigartha. Arjuna had already killed the rest of his brothers. Now with a sharp arrow, Arjuna killed Susharma too. The sight of any of the Kaurava brothers always excited Bhima immensely. He killed all of the remaining ones. Sudarshana was the last of Duryodhana's brothers remaining. Bhima killed him too with an arrow. Shakuni and Uluka were fighting with Nakula and Sahadeva. After some time, Nakula killed Uluka right in front of Shakuni's eyes. Shakuni was devastated. Sahadeva started fighting with him. After a little while, Shakuni wanted to run away from the battlefield. But Sahadeva taunted and challenged him. He said, "You were the true reason for this entire war. It is because of you Duryodhana resorted to his evil and devious tricks always. You laughed at us at the Dyuta Sabha, especially when we Pandava brothers took our oaths. Now most of them are already fulfilled. Bhima will kill Duryodhana very soon. Arjuna has already killed Radheya. Nakula has killed Uluka, and I am going to kill you." After a brief fight, Sahadeva had killed Shakuni. Duryodhana was devastated after seeing his uncle Shakuni dead. Within no time, the rest of the army was destroyed too. All that was left of the 11 Akshauhinis of Duryodhana's army were Kritavarma, Kripacharya, Ashwathama and Duryodhana himself. Duryodhana was in utter disbelief and grief. He trotted off on his wounded horse along with his own wounds and his mace. After a little distance, his wounded horse collapsed and literally dropped dead. Holding on to his mace, Duryodhana sobbed bitterly in his loneliness. He kept walking mindlessly, thinking of his near and dear ones that had all sacrificed their lives, especially his dear friend Radheya. How pained he must have been to have known that he is the eldest brother of the Pandavas, and yet he had sacrificed his life for Duryodhana's sake. Every cell in his body was burning as if due to the ghastly events of the previous 18 days. He saw a lake nearby. It was Lake Dvaipayana. He wanted to enter the lake and cool himself off. By then, Dhritarashtra's charioteer Sanjaya came there. He was touched to see the miserable state of Duryodhana. Duryodhana's eyes were swollen and red. He could not even recognize Sanjaya. Sanjaya spoke with him. He said, "Your father Dhritarashtra has sent me to you as per practice. The Pandavas found me in your tent and captured me. Satyaki would have killed me if it was not for Vyasa. He stopped them and said I should not be killed. He said I should be allowed to go back to King Dhritarashtra. So they let me go." Sanjaya was very sorry to see this pitiable state of Duryodhana. Duryodhana now consoled Sanjaya. He said, "Please return to my father and tell him that I have entered this lake. I want to cool my body off. I do not want to live under the mercy of the Pandavas after all my brothers and especially my dear friend Radheya are dead. Tell my father that I have asked for his forgiveness for all the grief I have caused. I will never be seeing him again. Tell my mother Gandhari that I have conveyed my pranams at her feet. I have bowed down to no one in this world except my mother. She is a virtuous person and I have let her down. Please convey my apologies to her for all the grief I have caused for her. Tell her that I would want to be her son in all my future births too. Now I will enter this lake before anyone sees me and rest for a while." Saying so, Duryōdhana entered the Dvaipayana lake. He was a champion of the Jalastambhana Vidya, which means he could stay still underwater for a very long time. He had learned this mantra from Rishi Durvasa. Duryodhana had entered into Lake Dvaipayana on the evening of the 18th day of war. What are our observations from this part of the story? For Duryodhana, the burden of the deaths of all his near and dear ones was probably heavier than all the sins he had committed. But his realization was 18 days too late. The damage was already done. As they say, sorry cannot make a dead man alive. His near and dear ones had literally died to make him happy. Now him feeling sorry would not bring them back to life. With these thoughts, we come to the end of today's episode. Remember, in this series we are discussing matters of Mahabharata because even today, Mahabharata matters. Hari Om!